Sometimes miracles don't come as loud events. They come as quiet moments, small choices, and unexpected encounters. You are not alone. In a quiet village called Rivenshore lived a man named Daniel. Daniel had no family, no parents, no siblings, no one waiting for him at home. His house was barely standing, old wood, cracked walls, and a leaking roof that sang sadly whenever it rained. Life had not been kind to him. People in the village knew him, but not in a good way. Some ignored him. Others spoke harshly. A few simply looked through him as if he didn't exist. Still, every morning Daniel woke up with the same quiet determination. He worked wherever he could, lifting loads, fixing fences, cleaning yards. Some days he earned a small meal, some days nothing at all. But inside his tired heart, one thing never died: faith. Each night, before closing his eyes, he whispered softly, "God, I'm not asking for much. Just don't forget me." One hot afternoon, Daniel worked for a wealthy farmer named Mr. Briggs. The sun was unforgiving. His hands ached. His body felt like it might give up at any moment. But he kept going. By evening, Mr. Briggs handed him a small sack of food. It wasn't much, just bread and a few leftovers. But to Daniel, it felt like gold. He held it carefully as he walked home, already imagining how slowly he would eat it to make it last. But halfway down the road, trouble found him. A group of rough young men blocked his path. They laughed. They mocked him. Then they shoved him to the ground. The sack fell. Food scattered into the dust. Daniel didn't fight back. He simply knelt there, quietly gathering what little he could save. His hands trembled. His heart hurt more than his body. He looked up at the fading sky and whispered, "God, I know others suffer more than me, but do you still see me? Please, don't let me become bitter like them." The path home passed by a calm, silent river. As Daniel walked slowly, he noticed someone sitting on a rock, an old man. He looked weak, tired, hungry. "Good evening," the old man said gently. "Do you have something to share? I haven't eaten today." Daniel stopped. He looked down at his small, damaged food. It was barely enough for himself. For a moment, fear whispered inside him. But then, he remembered something his mother used to say long ago. "When you give with love, your heart will never be empty." Daniel took a deep breath. He picked the cleanest piece of bread he had left, wiped it carefully, and handed it to the old man. "Eat here," he said softly. The old man smiled, a slow, grateful smile. He ate quietly, as if every bite mattered. "Thank you," he said. "You are a good man." And for the first time that day, Daniel felt something warm inside. Not hunger, not pain. Peace. After eating, the old man asked for help to stand. Daniel supported him gently. They walked together beneath the tall trees, the river whispering beside them. Then suddenly, the old man stopped. He turned and looked directly at Daniel. But this time, his eyes were different. They shone, bright, deep, alive with something beyond this world. "Daniel," he said softly, "do you know who you've been walking with?" Daniel blinked, confused. "Just an old man," he replied. The air around them grew still. Then, a soft golden light began to glow around the man. "I have been with you long before today," he said. "I was there when you cried alone at night. I heard every prayer you whispered. I saw every tear you tried to hide." Daniel's breath caught. I was praying to God," he whispered. The man smiled gently. "I am the one who never left your side." Daniel fell to his knees, overwhelmed. "I thought you forgot me." "No," God said, placing a gentle hand on his head. "I never abandoned you. You chose kindness, even when life was cruel to you. And today, you gave when you had almost nothing." Then God touched Daniel's small sack of food. Suddenly, it grew heavy. Daniel opened it slowly. Inside, fresh bread, rice, fruits, enough food for many days. "What you give with love," God said, "I return, multiplied." That night, Daniel walked home differently, not just with a full bag, but with a full heart. From that day on, something changed. People began to notice him, not with pity, but with respect. Opportunities came. Kindness returned to him in ways he never expected. He found steady work. He learned new skills. Life wasn't perfect, but he never felt alone again. And every time he passed by that river, he remembered the place where God walked beside him. This story is also for you. Maybe you feel unseen. Maybe life feels unfair. Maybe you give and receive nothing in return. But don't lose heart. God sees your quiet kindness. God hears your silent prayers. God remembers every good thing you do. You are never walking alone. Sometimes God doesn't come with loud miracles. Sometimes he comes as a tired stranger. A quiet moment, or a small choice to do good. Your kindness matters. That your heart matters, and one day, doors will open where you once saw only walls.